The Joe Rogan Experience.
Part of the reason why I wanted to write this book is it's very much like, another thing I do is go around and talk about science and religion. And I'm an atheist myself, so I say that, science leads us to not believe in God. And I talk about this to very different audiences, churches and things like that sometimes.
How's that go?
Well, it depends very much on the age of the person in the audience is the thing. Older people, they've made up their minds. They're not going to change. But young people, even very, very, very religious young people, are fascinated by what I have to say. It's not that they change their mind right away, but it's like, I've never heard someone put it that way before, right? And maybe they do change their mind later, maybe not, but at least they've heard a perspective that they were not exposed to earlier. I think the same thing is true with quantum mechanics. There's a buttload of books about quantum mechanics on the market. There's no shortage of books about quantum mechanics, but they're mostly with this spirit of, isn't this bizarre? Isn't this weird? We'll never understand it. And I think that many, many people who grew up to be physicists, this is what they're doing when they're 12 years old. They're reading these books, right? And so I wanted to write a book which said, actually, we could maybe understand this if we just tried. It's not ineffably mysterious. Let's be embarrassed that the field of physics has not put its effort into it and make an effort here. And so maybe that's what my, most ambitious hope for a book like this is that 20 years from now, there'll be a flood of young physicists who think this is really interesting.
Yeah, well, the number, what would you estimate it would be currently? How many people do you think
Yeah,
worldwide?
It's certainly of order 100.
That's it?
I think so, yeah. When we have conferences, there's often 12 people there or 20 people.
Holy shit.
I mean, maybe there's more because I haven't met them all, but it always depends on how you draw the boundaries also. Whereas, there's thousands or tens of thousands of people in most subfields of physics. So, why would you go into the subfield where there's no money or promotion chances? it's tough.
Yeah,
That's why you become philosophers.
Yes, but still, that's stunning when you hear that it's somewhere around 100.
Yeah, we have, here in California, we have CQUIN, the California Quantum Interpretation Network, which is a group of us, the people we know in California who care about these issues and who meet to talk about them. And it's 15 people, something like that. And again, it depends on where you draw the boundaries and so forth.
But if one of you guys kicks the bucket.
I know, that's why we got to get new blood in there,
Yeah.
But like I said, I do think it's growing, it's expanding, and I'm optimistic. I tend to be optimistic. There is this, I alluded to it before, but let's emphasize it. We turned on the Large Hadron Collider in 2009. We turned it on in 2008 and then it exploded. Then we fixed it and turned it on again in 2009. And it found the Higgs boson in 2012. And it didn't find anything else. And that's bad. That's bad for physics in a big way because it's great that we had a theory that came true with the Higgs boson, but in some sense we learned from the Large Hadron Collider the smallest amount it was possible for us to learn. There's a Higgs boson and that's it.
What about quark-gluon plasma?
Yeah, that's great, but we knew it was there. We'll learn details about it, but the fundamental underlying laws that give rise to that we've known since the 70s. So there's a million things we learn about, for the gravitational waves, for measuring the Higgs boson. We pin down numbers. We measure the cosmic microwave background, the leftover radiation from the Big Bang.
But you would like something more that you could bring to people saying that this is very valuable and tangible stuff.
Well, not just that. I wanted to make progress, right? So we had good reason to think that there should be a bunch of other particles that you would discover at the Large Hadron Collider, and they weren't there. Meanwhile, we have very good reason to think that 25% of the matter in the universe is dark matter, 25% of the energy in the universe, and we had very good reason to hope that we could detect it by now in an underground laboratory, and we haven't. And it's there, but it's beyond our reach somehow. So it's just so hard to make progress under these circumstances. And meanwhile, we have big, cool ideas like string theory that are hard to connect to the real world. So this is the last third of the book to me is, again, I have my favorite ideas, but there's a bigger picture about what kinds of ideas we should pursue and how we should pursue them. So the last third of the book is maybe we need to understand quantum mechanics to better understand quantum gravity and the theory of everything. How should we expect to understand quantum gravity if we don't understand quantum mechanics? Come on.